So, here's something to think about. In my night video, I did dive a bit into relationships and shit. But here's something to think about. Why is the stereotype for relationships this? Why is it, YouTube, that the stereotype for relationships is you always have to fight or be polar opposites or disagree? Wouldn't it be easier dating someone you have more in common with? Well, that's a yes and no answer. I guess it depends on the person. Here's the thing of it. Polar opposites can attract, but they also don't have to. Exactly the same can, but doesn't have to. It's really the same for both of those answers. Sure, you can meet the girl of your dreams, has everything in common with you. Or you meet someone you're polar opposites, and it just works in its own special way. It really depends on the circumstance and the people and the situation. And I don't understand it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's one of the mysteries about it. But as I said before, a patient fisherman will always catch his fish. How they say, other fish in the sea. You teach a man to fish, he'll catch fish for the rest of his life. Fish for him for the night, he'll have fish for the night. Now it's a metaphor. What I mean by this, and this could be applied to the dating scene as well. You could teach a person to date. You can date for them, be their wingman, so to speak, or you can teach them a couple tricks to it and they can do it themselves. You know what I'm saying? If you're a wingman for the person you're trying to help, it may work for a night or it may work for the rest of their life. That depends on a lot of things. I don't want to be too specific here, but that's true for the dating scene in general. You go fishing and that's the third thing of it, being patient. I'm a hypocrite for saying it, but being patient, is it tough to be patient when society puts way too much pressure on dating? Or is that just about the fucking ugliest truth of it? You're taking something that adults do that should be natural, and you're There's way too much pressure on women to get married and men to have sex. It's stupid. But there's nothing you can do about it except bitch and complain, and eventually people see that and go, hey, this guy tells it like it is. Wait a minute. Now, you hear a lot about people saying how dating sucks. The truth be told, dating doesn't suck, people suck. And there's nothing you can do about it except change the way you are as a person. You can't control what other people do. That's the sad truth of it. You can't let, and that's just it. Trolls are like really bad dates. You can't let it get to you, you know. You're gonna encounter a couple of shitheads and slots. Oh, did I say that out loud? I kinda did. Yeah. And in some way, shape, or form, social media and dating have this parallel. And the one thing they have in common, two things, they can be used for each other, and people bitch about both of them sucking. You hear people bitch and say, oh my god, social media is the worst, or oh my god, dating's the worst. Well, I'm here to tell you that social media and dating don't have to suck, that people make it sucky, that society makes it sucky. And if you think about this for a second, it makes a lot of sense. We've created this image around social media with websites like Instagram where, you know, you see people showing off their Lamborghinis and wads of cash. And on the dating scene, for example, we've created all this pressure where either you have to be polar opposites or the exact same. And this argument of whether they both work or not, they work in parallels with each other. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Do polar opposites attract? Do the people who are exactly the same attract? It depends on the people and it depends on the situation. So both of those are a yes and no question, YouTube. You know, and that's just it. People talk about, well, if you're getting bullied on social media, then just turn it off. Get off of Facebook, get off of YouTube, get off of whatever stupid site you're on. Sometimes it's not that easy because we still have bullies in the real world too. So you just have to learn to deal with it, you know. And you give them plenty of chance to back off before they step too far, and then it's just like, okay. And that's just the kicker of it. You could have someone bully you for months, but the second you overreact, you're the asshole. What? Okay, so what are we supposed to do? You tell us to stop and they don't stop. What helps me deal with the bullying on YouTube, especially on a side note, is knowing that I'm not the only person getting bullied on social media. And there have been people who say, why should we take your dating advice? You haven't had a girlfriend in almost 3 years. because the patience to learn what people are talking about on the dating scene and knowing that the right one will come along eventually, it just takes the utmost of patience. And believe me, there's going to be times when it's frustrating. The bigger question, should we vent our frustrations on social media? The simplest answer is yes and no. Yes, because in a way, if you're just bitching about it on social media and it makes you feel better in some way, shape, or form, then it's therapeutic. You have a safe space to bitch about it, but that depends on your definition of safe space, because a lot of people feel like their freedom as a speech is being taken away. Well, to an extent, it really isn't. No. You're not allowed to say racist shit on YouTube, so I don't think that's a restriction of freedom of speech. I think that's called common courtesy. Ooh-wee. Well, I do appreciate you tuning in to watch this here video. Because we can change the dating scene one video at a time. If people have this conceited view of the dating scene to where it's seen with the stereotypes that are both gender-based and society-based and dating scene-based in general, then no one's gonna like that shit. It makes dating way more complicated than it needs to be. And then of course it leads right back to people bitching about the dating scene, or bitching about social media, or bitching about the economy, or someone's always bitching about something. It's just how it works, man. But here's the thing of it. Yes, you should use social media to vent, but at the same time, know that you have to limit yourself on how far you vent. Because there are some people who might think you go too far with your views, or your opinions suck and you think their opinions suck, and it's just like, I should be getting my YouTube monies tomorrow's, because honestly it's been past the 21st, and on top of that, YouTube, on top of that, I made it past the threshold. Yeah, buddy. This is something that makes me laugh. Religion is fickle in a sense that even though you practice different faiths, everyone gets crap for it. That's for a different video. Anyways, tubes, I do thank you for watching this here video. Subscribe for more awesome content.